get it,
shut it down.
If we don't get it,
shut it down.
If we don't get it,
Shut it down.
If we don't get it, shut it down. Just one of the many chants heard on the streets of Philadelphia on Monday. Civil rights activists marching peacefully to continue and echo the message of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
I'm just a Philadelphia resident, and I'm out here because I'm ready for change, and I'm ready to be a part of that change and start making that change. And it's great to be out here connecting with people who are also ready to do the same.
Philadelphia is, of course, known as the birthplace of liberty here in the United States, yet many issues still exist in that city and all over the country. Some were heard chanting, "Hands up, don't shoot," referencing the recent police shooting and the aftermath in Ferguson, as nearly 1,500 demonstrators shouted in the streets. Dr. King's legacy wasn't just about tackling tough issues like racism, but also taking a stand against police brutality and injustice.
Dr. Martin Luther King's legacy is way more than doing nice deeds. Dr. Martin Luther King fought for what was right. He fought for justice. And what is happening in our world today is a lot of injustice on every front.
Demonstrators marched for several reasons, among them supporting education, the right to form unions to negotiate a new minimum wage, and increased accountability from police. And not far away in Delaware, Vice President Joe Biden spoke to a crowd of people about the need to repair the relationship between police and communities all over the country.
It's a responsibility of every community to recognize the humanity of the men and women who volunteered to put on that uniform and go into harm's way to answer the urgent call in the middle of the night in a two-story walk-up to do the best they can. But it's also the responsibility of every officer who takes on the oath to protect and serve, to respect the dignity of every person that officer encounters. Young, old, male, female, black, white, Hispanic, or Asian.
A little-known side to the Obamacare website is prompting new concerns about privacy. Customers of the health exchange have to enter plenty of personal information on the website, but experts now say that dozens of data companies can tell if you're on the site, and they can get that personal information. The data firms reportedly have embedded connections on the site, which lets them track users, and third-party companies can see things like your age and your zip code and how much money you make. They can even tell if you're pregnant or if you smoke. Until now, there's no evidence that these companies have abused that personal information, but the number of outside connections is certainly raising questions and setting off privacy alarms. All of this as the White House is calling for stronger cybersecurity for customers. 37 state governments refused to cooperate with Obamacare, resulting in the Federal Health Exchange website and insurance program. Well, it's time for the president to check in with the nation. Tuesday night's State of the Union address marks number 6 for the president, and political analysts say the president's agenda is not likely to go very far, given that both branches of Congress are under Republican control. Critics say that the president is putting out several ideas on a so-called wish list for more for purposes of positioning and political rhetoric, not for the purposes of getting anything done. And with more details on what we'll hear in the State of the Union, we get that report from Gary Franchi.
Well, it's really no secret. The president spent the last 2 weeks traveling the country promoting his own ideas. And it used to be that the State of the Union was full of surprises. Well, not anymore. In fact, the television ratings have dropped every year under President Obama. In his 6th State of the Union address, Obama is calling for higher taxes on the rich to fund new tax breaks on the middle class. And he's also said that he would give free community college to any student in America who could earn a C on their report card. He's also making a pitch to raise the minimum wage and requiring employers to offer paid sick and family leave. But political analysts say it's just a bunch of non-starter political rhetoric. The president knows he'll have to attract Republican votes to pass any of these laws into action. But 1 week after vowing to insider Democrats that he would continue to, quote, play offense, he's taking the State of the Union and using it as a political weapon. More PR than substance to appeal to the voters.
Since the AirAsia Flight 8501 crash, new rules and regulations are being proposed for airliners flying out of Indonesia. The Indonesian transport minister is working towards changing aviation safety standards. Some of these include new rules and permits and safety health checks for crew. President Joko Widodo has called for an overhaul regarding the Indonesian aviation sector. Many analysts say that due to an increase in Southeast Asia air travel, infrastructure has failed to keep up. As for the AirAsia Flight 8501, investigators continue to figure out what caused the fatal accident. So far, terrorism has been ruled out as a possible cause.
The voice from the cockpit doesn't show any sign of a threat. It's only the pilot sounding very busy handling the plane.
Okay. A new discovery was found by the Kepler Space Telescope. Over 1,000 planets have been located outside of the Milky Way, and now 3 more have promising signs. These new sightings show that all 3 have Earth-like sizes, including one in Earth's habitable zone. The most exciting find of the 3 is only 150 light years away, very close in space distance. The UC Berkeley student who made the find says there is a very real possibility that the outermost planet is rocky like Earth, which means this planet could have the right temperature to support liquid water oceans. The most recent discovery from the Kepler Space Telescope has shown planets that are similar to Earth's size seem to be made up of the same material. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and one selfie is stirring up some major commotion. Controversy erupts in the Miss Universe pageant. While young and beautiful women from all across the world compete for the title of Miss Universe, some are taking on a political agenda. The problem started when Miss Israel Doron Matalon posted a photo to her Instagram with some of her fellow contestants. For more details, we turn to Gary Franchi.
To Miss Israel, it was just a picture, but to the Lebanon, it was much more. Lebanese officials have a law forbidding any of its citizens to fraternize with Israelis. And in a recent picture from the event, Miss Israel was posing with, you guessed it, Sally Greige, Miss Lebanon. Greige took to social media after seeing the selfie online saying, quote, I was very cautious to avoid being in any photo or communication with Miss Israel. Greige went on to say that she was taking a picture with some of the other girls when Miss Israel jumped into the picture. Miss Israel addressed Miss Lebanon on her Facebook, stating, too bad you cannot put the hostility out of the game. According to the New York Post, Lebanon is launching a full-scale investigation into the photos. The Miss Universe pageant will go on this Sunday in Miami.